Hi, my name's Jennifer Wyman and I'm founder and director of Bridge the Gap Child Mental Health. I wanted to come on and talk a little bit about grounding. In my last video blog that I did, I talked about how we can support children through the coronavirus pandemic and how emotional literacy is going to be key to supporting children's long-term outcomes through this. I could go on and on about it, but I'm trying to keep things simple and focus on one thing at a time. But emotional literacy, how that's going to be everything for our children, and an opportunity. How our relationships and how we can create and hold a safe space for our children through it rather than trying to fix it for them. But I want to start sharing with you some of the strategies that we talk a lot about at Bridge the Gap and we use with children. But we don't just talk to them about it, we help teach them how to utilise it. We teach them why it's important to do. And I want to talk to you today about grounding because it's something we're focusing on our Facebook groups today, and I thought it would be nice to come on and share with you as well. So grounding in some ways is quite new in terms of research that has gone into it, but in other ways it's old as since time began, because grounding to the earth and being at one with nature has how we've lived for thousands of years. And it's thought to have incredible properties for healing. So it can help people manage chronic pain, reduce inflammation, improve immune response, improve blood flow, as well as improve mental well-being and elevating moods. So you will know, if you know anything about me, how I believe wholeheartedly in holistic development and how mental health and physical health can't and shouldn't be separated. They support and impact each other. Grounding's a really good representation of that. Now, we're focusing today, there's lots of different ways to ground, but today I want to talk to you about grounding to the earth, so grounding with nature. And that's something that's really important to do now more than ever. So if you're fortunate enough to have a garden, this is going to be quite an easy thing to do. If you are getting out for your walk every day, it's something that's accessible for you. If you're in self-isolation, this is going to be difficult, so we can focus on how we can ground in the home as well. So signs that we need grounding are things like if we're getting distracted easily, we're spacing out, we're overthinking and ruminating, we are getting caught up in personal drama, perpetual worry, we're starting to experience anxiety, caught up in what if scenarios. So they're signs that we are ungrounded. So how can we then access grounding to support our well-being? Like everything, there's no quick fix and it takes practice. Now, if we take the time to practice grounding, it can become an effective short-term coping strategy, but using it in a proactive way, so practicing it proactively, is an effective long-term coping strategy and a long-term strategy for supporting well-being. So let's talk about first, if we can't get outside, how can we ground ourselves in our house? So grounding fundamentally, grounding to the earth in particular, means connecting with nature and focusing on our senses. So for example, you could have flowers in your home, bringing some natural stone, rocks into your house, thinking about the scent of your home, so maybe utilising essential oils in that way. And they are all very good ways to ground ourselves to the earth in our home environments. So think about that in terms of when you're out and about at the moment, bringing some of those things inside the home can really help support mental health and well-being. So outside of the home, it's all about being a little bit mindful and being aware of nature and things that you are seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, tasting. So in order to practice this, I encourage a use of a visual cue or a prompt. And this is one that we have on the website, but if you're in a school and you want to have a full activity on grounding, then maybe you can ask the children to design their own grounding sheet that they're going to take out on their walk or on their daily activity outside into the field or the gardens. But having one is very important because it takes a lot of repetition, as I was saying before, to be able to access these coping strategies at a time of crisis. So when we're starting to feel rising panic, noticing negative thought patterns, our physiological symptoms of feelings are becoming overwhelming, to be able to access this at a point to calm ourselves, we need to have it embedded, which takes a lot of repetition to embed that, to wire those neural pathways to make it accessible at a time when our frontal cortex is actually going to be switching off. So a lot of repetition is required. So going out and having this cue, so you have 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. And you just mark around, make notes of what you've seen. Maybe you can bring some of those things that you've seen back into the home as well. Doing this regularly is going to help your child feel grounded at a time where everything feels very difficult and different. So think about grounding, explore it. If anybody wants any more advice or information on grounding, then do please get in touch. We'll be happy to share with you what we've got that might be able to help. But talk to children about grounding, explain why it's important, and why we're not as grounded as we were. If you think about the first shoes that were made, they were sandals, so that we could still feel connected to the earth in some way. Nowadays we have more built up areas than ever before, so connecting with nature's never been more important. You know, that's going to really help us. I'm talking from somebody as well who has an autoimmune disease. I have rheumatoid arthritis, so I experience a lot of inflammation, a lot of chronic pain. And when I go on holiday, which obviously won't be happening this year, and I go camping and I am in bare feet pretty much the whole of the time, I'm either on the campsite or at the beach in bare feet, my inflammation is just so much better. My pain is so much improved. And there are some that could say that's a placebo effect as well, which who cares if it is? If it helps and it works, then great. But the more you read into grounding to the earth, the more it makes sense. So from a personal experience, this has really helped me both physically and mentally, and I'd like it to be able to help you as well. So explore, and as I've said, get in touch with any questions. Take care, stay home, stay safe.